I'll try to be brief and just make some observations on three areas. First of all, on what you might call the narrative of the conference, the process. As you'll have gathered, on Wednesday we had the first of the open hearings in connection with the Windsor Continuation Group, the group that's working on the implementation of the Windsor Report. That was quite deliberately crafted as an opportunity for anyone and everyone to make their observations on some of the most difficult situations in the communion, simply to lay out their feelings and their thoughts, so that the group could reflect on them and bring them back to a further hearing. Now, that's a reminder that in addition to the daily rhythm of Bible study and Indaba group, there is throughout the conference a sort of deeper groundswell of work in other areas, and the Windsor Continuation Group continues its work. Over this weekend, there will be some further work done by a group of people reflecting on the Indaba process so far. Lots and lots of material has come in. Each group has identified someone who will be part of that bigger reflection group. Monday there'll be a chance to feed some of that back in. Now, I think that so far the conference is, if you like, organising itself into different periods. There was the initial few days when we were praying together, reflecting together, getting to know one another, not doing very much business. We've begun to grapple with the business through the regular group work and also the work that I've just described through the hearings, through the groups that are servicing those. Yesterday's remarkable event in London was a little bit of a watershed. We're conscious that as the reflections group feeds back in over the weekend, next week we shall be looking at quite a lot of sensitive issues, and all the groups involved will be working perhaps more intensively. As you've heard, the Indaba groups have been doing their work systematically day by day with, I guess, as is inevitable, varying degrees of comfort and success. But the general feeling we have is that probably rather more than 4 out of 5 of the groups are working as we hoped they would. And various issues have arisen about, is there too much detail in the suggestions for running the groups? And so in response to that, we've tried to simplify the process a bit and remind people that they can adjust that, so long as they keep to the flow of general subjects as the time goes on. That's how we've handled it. Okay, second remark, very briefly, is on yesterday's event in London, where I think everybody who participated felt part of a rather remarkable occasion, where we were able to say something which I hope was clear and straightforward to our government, and actually hear something pretty clear and straightforward in response. People's reaction to what the Prime Minister said was uniformly very positive and very hopeful, and they felt that they then had a message to take back to their own governments around the world, and that was part of what emerged from yesterday very strongly. Thirdly, very briefly, because you've already heard Archbishop Paul on this subject, just a word on the ecumenical business of today. You've heard that we'll be looking at the International Anglican Roman Catholic Commission on Unity and Missions document on practical cooperation. We've also already during this week looked at the report of the Anglican Orthodox Doctrinal Commission in what I gather, I wasn't able to be there, was a very lively seminar in which Anglicans disagreed with Anglicans and Orthodox disagreed with Orthodox in fine style. But one thing I would like to say is that in the conversations I've had with a wide variety of people among our ecumenical friends, the same message has come through. It's come through to me from a commission in the Salvation Army and from a cardinal of the Roman Church. Your issues, they say, are everyone's issues. And that's why we're grateful to be participants. It's not as if the Anglican Communion alone has problems about authority, problems about scripture, theology, ethics. We all have these problems. You happen to be dealing with them in a pretty acute way. We need to be part of that discussion. We want you to be part of ours. So that's been something that's come through from diverse quarters, and I think has been helpful and encouraging for some of us to hear. Thank you.